So welcome back. We are continuing our panel on virtual events and the future of networking as part of the Startup Village. But as you see, we've changed the location and we have a new guest. I would like to introduce Chris, the CEO of Meet in VR, a platform from where we're coming to you to the Startup Village. So Chris, can you
Hi,
please
Alina.
briefly... Hello.
Great to meet
See
you.
you. And thank
Thanks
you
for having me.
for hosting
Of
hosting us
course,
actually on your
my
platform.
pleasure.
So can you please briefly introduce yourself and tell us
Of
a
course,
little bit more
sure.
about you and your
Uh,
company?
yeah, definitely. So my name is Chris. I'm founder and CEO of Meeting VR. We've been around for the past 4 years and working on building one of the best enterprise collaboration solutions in virtual reality. And our goal is to try to give you meetings with superpowers. So we want to try to make meetings a little bit better than in real life in some ways. So just as a quick introduction, like for example, in real life, you wouldn't be able to just grab a tablet, leave it in midair. When you don't need it anymore, you can just, throw it away, or grab a pen from behind your ear at any time, just make a
Yeah,
sketch in midair.
that's a
And
cool
then
thing.
whenever you don't need it anymore, you just throw it away like anything else.
I
So
love the
yeah.
idea of having pen behind your ear.
Yeah, definitely. We're trying to optimize all the interactions which you would normally have in a real life meeting and try to add a little bit of superpowers to them.
Tell me, where did you get the inspiration to create Meet in VR? How did you think that that's actually something that people would need in virtual reality and it would change something for people?
Sure. So I've actually started working with virtual reality, I think around 6 years ago. So my first headsets were the first developer kits from Oculus, and I have ever like since then I started building all kinds of mini games and applications. But what I came to realize at some point was that I would really love to be able to share those experiences with others. So then I had the opportunity to try out some of the very early social VR apps,
Hmm.
and I've been trying Allspace. And when I had an experience in Allspace, even though the avatars were very very simplistic, the feeling of being together with somebody kind of blew my mind. So then I started thinking, what else could this be used for? And coming from a creative background, I wanted to create sort of a virtual universe which would be able to give people creative superpowers. And we found out
Hmm.
that creativity is obviously something very important for companies and for businesses. So we wanted to try to help them meet, collaborate better, come up with more innovative and more inspiring solutions. So I guess that's how it all started. And it started in my
And
bedroom, and now we're getting ready to launch and to show what we've been building to everyone.
yes, that's very exciting because as far as I understand, and you won actually the XR Base Investor Event Challenge in a way, right? So it was your proposal and your startup was the most appealing to the XR Base investors, and congratulations on that.
Thank you
But
so much.
also, I wanted to ask, where are you in the launch of your product? So I think that you're right now just getting ready for the public launch, right?
Sure. So over the past 3 years, we've been in private beta. So we've been working very closely with companies from all over the world, especially with large enterprises. So we've been working with quite a few Fortune 500 companies, meeting with them every single week in virtual reality to get feedback from them and to see how we can improve the experience and get it to a point where it can be bring a lot of value to any companies. So I can't officially say the launch date yet, but it's going to be very soon, and we're going to do an open beta so that SMBs as well and other companies who are curious to experience our solution will be able to do it in a much easier way than now. And we're working extremely hard on this. For the past months or so, I've been working day and night personally, and my colleagues the same, to bring this to where it should be, and to offer the most amazing experience to everybody who's going to try it. So I'm extremely excited about this.
That's awesome. And just a quick question. What changed for you 2 months ago when the world unexpectedly found itself in the COVID crisis? Did it just change for you overnight and you found yourself in the industry that is the most in demand right now in the world?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. It came like a total surprise. So we had actually just moved to a new office, and we were just setting up the space for a week when we found out that this this situation came up. So even before the lockdown was sort of imposed, we decided that we're going to move completely into virtual reality, which will give us, of course, a better opportunity to actually test our product to the core and use it, much more. So we've all started working from home. We've started working a lot from virtual reality. I've been spending between 3 and 6 hours each day immersed in a virtual world, just like we are right now, with the team for strategy meetings, for planning meetings, we have our daily stand-up in VR, but also with meetings with potential customers, investors, and so forth. And this was just a phenomenal experience, to realize that this is even possible to spend most of your working day immersed in a virtual world. And from a customer point of view and interest, we've been just flooded by requests, which was beyond our imagination.
Any
So,
expectations?
yeah, like in a matter of a couple of months, more than 1,000 companies have reached to us. So in 2 months
Oh, wow.
alone, completely organic with no paid promotion or anything like this. It's just companies looking specifically for a solution
For
like this and
co-working.
interesting to trying it out. So yeah.
So describe me your clients. Who are your clients right now and who are you looking to attract? Because as far as I understand, you specifically developed this platform for high-end meetings with super capabilities, but ideally people need to experience that in virtual reality. So you are
Sure.
aiming also to kind of introduce that to the companies who are ready to acquire the hardware, for example, right?
Of course. So, so far we've been focusing on large enterprises with global teams. So companies who do a lot of video conferencing normally and are sick of it and want to improve and to have something more interactive, something more engaging, have a better focus. So usually most of our clients so far are Fortune 500 companies, in the software industry, in the medical industry. Um, so we're working with some of the biggest software and medical and uh, automotive companies in the world, and also with some universities, including Stanford. So Stanford has been using Meeting VR for one of their courses. Now they're in the second, or I think they're finished already their second semester of using it successfully, where they're meeting with 15 universities from all over the world, and collaborating and doing mind maps, brainstorming sessions. So it's interesting
How many
because we're
people
finding
can we
that a
have
lot of companies are from different industries
looking
are
for that?
starting to get
How
into it.
many
Yeah,
people can we have in one room, and how many people are you envisioning to have in the future?
sure. So we're not really focusing on extremely large groups. I think there's other really amazing solutions in virtual reality which are designed to host large conferences. Our main focus is for smaller groups and more focused kind of interactions. So I think that ultimately, for most of our spaces, we will focus between 10 and 20 users, like
Mm-hmm.
maximum 20.
Mm-hmm.
We think that the best collaboration you get is between 5 to 10 people in the same time. However, we will have a room which will support around 30 people, which is just like a keynote kind of larger presentation room.
And do you expect your product to be available also on the kind of more affordable headsets like Oculus Quest, and possibly this like the same headsets that are coming in the standalone segment?
Sure. We're actually launching for the Quest as well.
Hmm.
So it's going to be
Great.
compatible with most of the major headsets.
VR platforms.
Yes. So it works with the Oculus, with the Vive, with the Windows Mixed Reality, with Oculus Quest, and it also works with Vario. So we're also targeting this very high-end experiences. So
Oh yes,
um,
that's true. That's true.
that's a really cool
So
one.
Chris, I'm very interested because you started building this platform quite a long time ago and you mentioned
Hmm.
Allspace. So, probably because you've been researching the social VR features, you spend a lot of time in different social VR applications. So, if you wanted to summarize, what is the biggest difference that VR makes in social meetings compared to just a Zoom meeting that everyone is experiencing right now? Um, how would you put that?
Um, I think one of the biggest keywords which we found out, and not only from our experience, but also from talking to a lot of companies and universities, is the focus part. So this is one of the top keywords, because when you're in virtual reality, you're completely immersed. You don't have any distractions. You can focus on the conversation, um, and the feeling of being with another person is beyond anything which can be done. So it's the only way in which you can even shake hands nowadays. The only
That's true.
completely safe way.
Greetings,
So
greetings to you
there's no
from
other way
Moscow.
right now in which you can shake hands with somebody without being with
Yeah,
them in the same physical space.
that's
And
true.
this
By
helps
the way,
break a lot of barriers.
I forgot to ask where are you based right now?
Yeah,
Do
we're in
you
Copenhagen.
in Copenhagen? Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. So we're a little bit far, but actually very close in this virtual
Yes,
environment.
exactly.
Uh,
Well, right
so
now we're next to a nice volcano, so
that's true. That's true.
our
And the
physical
sunset is beautiful.
location doesn't really matter.
I really enjoyed the virtual sunset that I haven't
Yeah,
experienced in a
it's
while.
it's really nice.
So, what's coming post-COVID? Do you think that the world will return to normal and actually we will forget about everything that happened? Or do you already see companies changing their strategies to adjust their work environments and how they work and to include something like your product into the roadmap?
That's a very good question. I'm convinced that we're never going to go back to the way things were. Now that we people have felt trapped at home and have found out that this is actually a way in which you can break that and actually be to feel that you're together with other people, and got to experience and to learn more about VR collaboration. I don't think things will ever be the same, and we're seeing that from a lot of the companies which we're talking with. They're starting to plan strategies around it for the long term. And even though, of course, like the hype is already starting to drop a little bit, it's starting to stabilize at a much higher point than what it used to be before the this situation.
The COVID, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the biggest obstacle that we're all facing when we're talking about virtual reality is that there are not so many people that can experience that. And I'm talking not about the corporate clients that maybe have access to the hardware, but the regular users. There are just not enough headsets available. So, from my perspective, it's actually very important to translate virtual experiences into 2D flat content, and that's what we're doing exactly right now with the cameras that we have set up, and we are recording the interview.
Hmm.
In your platform, you created separate uh, tools for that. Do you
Sure.
expect more content like that coming, and how important this is for your
Hmm.
strategy?
No, definitely. I think, as you've seen, we have desktop mode as well, so you can interact with the software without a VR headset with no problem. You can still be part of the meetings. Just
Hmm.
it's almost like playing, an RPG kind of video game. But I think there's going to be a lot of interesting combinations between VR and other mediums of collaboration. So, such as integrations with video conferencing tools, integrations with collaboration tools such as Teams or Slack or so forth. So we're definitely looking into these things, and we are considering having some kind of integrations of this type.
That's cool. The last question. Facebook Horizons. We all expecting them to launch something big. It will be probably the biggest social VR platform. What do you think about that? Do you expect that to actually raise a lot of awareness about what is possible in social VR world? And how do you think that would influence even your product?
Mm-hmm. That's a very good question because we know that Facebook tried before as well with Facebook Spaces,
The venues,
and
the spaces, yes.
yeah, and unfortunately that didn't work probably that well. But I'm pretty sure they've learned a lot through that experience. Facebook Horizon looks very exciting. I'm really curious about how it's gonna work. We've had other metaverses kind of type of and we still have such as VR chat, which is great.
Which is quite
So
different in terms of the
it's
use
very
case and
different, and I'm sure that they have very different audiences they're targeting as well. So I'm actually I don't know how this will influence. I'm sure it will bring a lot more awareness, but I really hope it's going to be amazing and it's going to convince even more people and show more people the value of what VR collaboration can bring, and VR
awesome. Thank
meetings
you so
and
much.
this. Yeah,
It was the last question, but just one more thing. So, in
sure.
terms of strategy, what's coming next for you? Are you going to raise more funds? Are you going to like what's the next steps? Because we
Yeah,
are at the Startup Village, which is an investor event as well. So probably for the audience, it would be interesting to know about.
sure. So so far for the past few months, we've been extremely focused on what getting the product to a place where it's getting ready very soon for a beta launch. After we do that, we're gonna start fundraising. So if there's any investors part of this event who would like to get in touch with us pretty soon, would be a great time.
Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you for hosting us inside your platform.
My
I really
pleasure.
like the feel of it, and I'm looking forward to produce more
Thanks so much.
content and to hopefully feature that so more people
Yeah,
will be inspired to join us in VR next time.
sounds fantastic. Looking forward to having you here again.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for your
Awesome.
time.
Also, look, you can do fireworks when it's like special
Oh.
occasions. We use this for fireworks as well.
That's
Cool.
a good ending. Like, let's just finish
Yeah.
with fireworks.
All right.